All right, guys. So we're looking at this same data, and we're going to be trying to do a couple of different things with it. First off, we're going to do a quick reminder on how to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range using Google Sheets. And secondly, we're going to try to make our own line graph by using this data. Now, you'll notice in the first column, I have my days. This is what's going to be on the horizontal or the x-axis of my graph. And then in the second column, I have my number of steps each day, and that's what's going to be on the vertical axis of our graph. All right, so before we start, I just want to talk about the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Just a reminder how to find these. Remember, when you're finding these in Google Sheets, you're always going to start with the equals button. You type in equals. Now, for the mean, you're going to start typing the word average. Remember, the mean is another name for the average. So I'm going to start typing average, and you'll notice that it's going to come up here. I'm going to click average, and I am just going to highlight all of my numbers, and then it's going to tell me the average number of steps I walked per day. If I just press enter, now it'd tell me the average number of steps that I walked per day. Notice it's a decimal. It's not going to be perfect, but it's about that. For median, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to start typing in median and then select all of our data. For mode, you're going to do the same thing, equal sign, and then start typing in mode. The only other different one here is range. You're going to type in equal sign. The easiest way, I should do two ways to do it last week. I'm going to show you the easiest way. Probably would be to just pick the biggest number and then click minus, and then pick the lowest number, press enter, and that's going to subtract those and give you the range. So I want you to go through first and find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of our chart here, of our data that we're working with. Now, secondly, I want to talk to you about how to make a line graph on our own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to highlight all of my data. So I highlighted all of the days and all of the step counts. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on insert, and I'm going to go down to chart. And really quickly, we're going to see a chart come up. Now, I zoomed in a lot, so I'm going to zoom back out. You probably won't have to do that. I'm going to zoom back out to about 125 just so I can see my chart a little better. Now, this is the chart, and if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can here. This is a chart of our data, and you'll notice along the bottom of our chart, we have down here, we have our days, and then here, this is our steps. Each one of these is a point on our graph that shows each day, and we can see it kind of going up and down and up and down. Now, a couple things that we can do here. If we go to customize, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the button that says chart and axis titles. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this chart a title. It's important to give a chart a title to know what it is that you're talking about. So I'm just going to say Mr. Thompson step count each day for a week. A really descriptive title is nice because it tells us exactly what the graph is saying. And then I'm just going to click center here so that my title is centered. Just kind of looks nice. Then I'm going to put, if I click here where it said chart title, I'm going to click on horizontal axis, and that's, again, along the bottom. And what we're measuring there is days. I'm just going to type the word days. And then I'm going to go to the vertical axis, and that's your up and down, your y-axis. And that's, I'm going to type in number of steps. And you'll notice that it comes over there. Now, we have this really nice graph now where it's really descriptive. We can tell exactly what it's talking about because we have a lot of information on there. The cool thing is, and if you kind of look through these, there's a whole bunch of options for things that you can do to your graph. If you just look down here at the different choices, you'll get like a number of things that are possible with your graph. I would say any of them are kind of nice. One thing that I like to do, and you may have noticed I just did this, if you go to series here, and if you go down here and you click on a shape, you can do different shapes, but I did circles. It'll show you where each of those points are. So for instance, like this point up here is Wednesday. And if we look at our data over there, Wednesday was right about 10,000. If we look at our point down here, this is Friday. That was that low day. It's less than 5,000. I think it was 4,150. So I think those points sometimes just give it a little more description, and it shows exactly where that point is, and it helps a little bit. So I want you guys to practice this idea of making this graph. See if you can put your chart titles on it like I did, so that you'll know how to make your own line graph in the future. Um, this is a really important thing. It's gonna be helpful, and you guys can use it to make your own graphs going forward as well.